Greetings, fellow adventurer, and welcome to Rodozem's Fables of Creation, a mythological companion for those daring enough to explore the layered, shifting world of Rodozem and its ancient roots. All of our content is available for free on our website, sorted into relevant sections like a well-organized arcane library, waiting for you to uncover its secrets. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking, subscribing, casting bardic inspiration using the help action, or anything of the like to help our adventuring party continue on this quest. And if you would like to gain access to new releases before anyone else in an exclusive format, come and join us on Patreon. We'll keep a warm seat for you by the hearth.
Fables of Creation, Scroll 1, The Story of Song and Stars. Rodozem's past is veiled in mystery. Its ancient origins reveal themselves to us only through myths, stories, and songs. Folk traditions and practices throughout the world are based upon such fables and parables, but real evidence of the god's existence is scattered across the lands and seas. Mountains, valleys, and dark swamps cover the lands, monumental scars of ages past when the gods walked upon Rodozem and shaped it through the power of creation, but also through conflict and violence. The gods themselves are among the first creatures to ever exist. They bear the gifts that surpass the capacity of mortal understanding, and yet are still as flawed and, at times, as irrational as mortals. The stories of their mistakes and humanity are told throughout the myths. So are their triumphs and ingenuity in keeping and upholding the precarious balance of existence. After all, as the wise ones say, the sparks don't fly far away from the anvil. These are old stories of ages bygone, such that none mortal could possibly remember or even fully understand. All of this wisdom and imagery of the Primordial Rodozem is regarded by most as a saga named fittingly the Fables of Creation. Deep within primeval forests, old relic libraries, layers upon layers of civilizations buried by time, mortals have unearthed hints which glimpse into the collective memories of those that came before. Folk songs, stories, and chronicles left behind by those able to record their present moment have inspired scholars, the devout, explorers, prophets, and artists with divine visions to shape them into the fables of creation. As such, this is more of a taxonomical name given to a certain type of stories, rather than a coherent and complete body of work. Naturally, this means that sometimes there could be legends that clash or contradict one another, and some disputes and beliefs might be unresolved even to this very day. These grand legends have transformed into historical texts, religious books, and fairy tales folk tell to their children at bedtime over many, many generations. However, more ancient secrets await, undiscovered and scattered within the plains, with only these tales left to hint at their very existence. The Birth of Rodozem. Myths of Rodozem's creation vary widely among the colorful and diverse peoples of the Great Tree. What comes before creation is a question mortals, and even immortals, have pondered since the very beginning. In this first scroll, we delve into the very mystical and mythical birth of Rodozem and existence itself. All the gods, spirits, and forces hailed as the first entities to witness Rod's grand work and hear their ever unfolding song. These myths predate most creatures and as such are regarded at best as metaphors and at worst as beautiful and epic fairy tales carrying ancient wisdom. Rare are the few who tell these stories as a gospel of truth, of how the events actually unfolded, as such folly requires great hubris or fanatical faith. Rod's sacrifice. It is believed that once there was no world, only a sea of chaos within a boundless infinite. Primordial elements and forces clashing ceaselessly in desolation and disorder. A swirling mass of everything, yet nothing. No balance, no harmony, no life. And then, in one eternal moment before time, elements and forces converged into one, like a dance without music, timeless yet flowing. Whether by destiny, chance, or will, their primeval unity formed the very first life. An egg. One that would birth the primordial creator of reality, Rod. Born of the Sea of Chaos, Rod was a being beyond comprehension, the cosmic dreamer of existence and the eternal singer of life. Rod's dream within the ovum gave them the vision of totality. The primordial creator dreamt of the need for change, the need to establish existence and beget life. Rod's will condensed into the first word, which consumed their essence upon its utterance, and their shell sparked with luminous, life-giving explosion of the first world. The countless radiant pieces of their essence spread into space and burned brightly, becoming what we know now as the stars. From their blazing cores, the gods of Rodozem were molded by the will of Rod, and to each they sacrificed an essence of themselves, the ultimate gift, a soul. Rod's incantation of life formed the first plane, Rodozem, where the Starborn awoke to witness the dawn of creation, inspired with purpose to nurture and safeguard this dream. This transcendent moment before time is referred to as Rod's sacrifice. Or so it is said, sung, and supposed, for no one truly possesses knowledge of how the dawn of creation unfolded. Perhaps even the gods of Rodozem. While no one actively worships Rods today, it is undeniable that the primordial creator's dream is the very beginning of reality, or at least so believe the few that have uncovered this mystical entity's origins. Rod is but a feeling, perhaps only some gods hold. The truth of creation and their sacrifice is a mortal myth, the story that gave birth to all stories. A fragment of a mural decorating the walls of the ancient libraries of the Arcane Academy of Arcana. An effort to understand the unknowable. The Song of Creation and the Stars. Rod's act of creation is often described with the various metaphors: a song, a word, a command, or simply magic. These are all valid expressions used by us mortals to try and name the nameless, that is, beyond our understanding. The Song of Creation is what most scholars call the act that sparked the beginning of all there is. They refer to it as the first word, the first speech ever uttered by Rod, their divine command. Their grandiose incantation is absolute. It is what makes reality possible. Why there is something rather than nothing, and what binds all elements and forces within Rodozem. What prevents the world from reverting back into the Sea of Chaos is the echo of Rod's song, reverberating from the infinite luminous stars that fill the void between existence and non-existence. Just like Rod's ceaseless song is the still humming echo which binds reality, so the stars are the foundation and enduring ages of Rodozem, holding back the ravening waves that ever seek to fade out creation. Burning brightly at the edges of existence, they carry within the primordial essence of life Rod spread across Rodozem. Some tell the story of the song and stars from a much more grounded, mortal perspective, where the song of creation is simply Rod's will taking shape. It could be argued that this is the first and most powerful instance of magic, a necessary act of creation, the glue that holds together existence itself. Other, more radical believers go as far as claiming that the Song of Creation is all there actually is, that there are no gods, spirits, or forces, but simply different aspects of existence. And perhaps they're not wrong, yet the devil is always in the detail. The Sea of Chaos. The Sea of Chaos is the very anarchic state where everything churns orderless and simultaneous. Before Rod's song echoed into the nothingness and wove them into existence, the primeval forces and elements once spread throughout the Sea of Chaos. This maelstrom of entropy still swivels infinitely outside of creation, unintelligible and calamitous, as if trying to will itself into being, yet becoming nothing. No mortal creature can exist naturally in such far and alien realms, devoid of life as we know it. Such environments, or to be more precise, the complete lack of an environment, would immediately and violently undo you into non-existence. The few arcanists and divine scholars who have even the slightest knowledge about the Sea of Chaos theorize that possibly not even a being akin to the gods themselves could exist there. Some of them refer to it as the realm beyond the stars, marking the celestial bodies as the border between existence and non-existence. There are a few radical suggestions that perhaps numerous realms beyond the stars exist. Such interpretations foster multiversal assumptions by those who believe there may be other similar creations like our reality, spread infinitely from each other among the Sea of Chaos. However, these ideas are able to unravel the sanity of the most renowned mortal minds today, and as such, are mainly considered literary inspirations rather than hard truths. The most ancient beings and entities. Before Rod, and perhaps still beyond the stars, the Sea of Chaos is a roiling and shifting, endless, tangled mass of cosmic powers and raw elements. However, this calamitous pandemonium hosted the potential for reality as we know it to exist. Rod is the first being that ever was, a being of balance between these ever-clashing entities. The primordial creator willed the elements and forces to separate from each other, then commanded them into reality. Within creation, these entities came into being as the primordial forces and primordial spirits. Then, Rod gave life to the gods, the primordial souls of Rodozem. The gods are an expression of Rod's will and hold in their conscience and character an aspect of their creator. Primordial spirits and forces are a conscious expression of the fundamental aspects of existence. The former are the building blocks of reality, and the latter are the underlying powers that push and pull, weave and unweave. Each holds ultimate power over their aspect, and are the most ancient beings and entities in Rodozem. The primordial forces, Belobog and Chernobog. The forces of Belobog and Chernobog are considered to be primordial, intrinsically woven together within the Sea of Chaos, and manifested in separation within Rodozem when existence was sung by Rod. Both Chernobog and Belobog are entities beyond understanding, unable to be defeated or destroyed due to their foundational connection to reality. Where Chernobog spreads chaos, malice, madness, and corruption, Belobog enforces order, stillness, perfection, and submission. While Chernobog whispers and unravels, Belobog demands and petrifies. If Chernobog is the corrupt cacophony of whispers of a boundless force of entropy, Belobog is the silence after the last voice is stilled, a gleaming prison often mistaken for a sanctuary. Folk portray Belobog and Chernobog not as opposites, but as twin expressions of the need for a cosmic balance through extremity. They anthropomorphize them, naming these forces in order to gain a chance of understanding the incomprehensible. Arcane scholars hypothesize that such entities are an inseparable part of the established universal order. Primordial forces woven into reality out of necessity, all in service to the delicate cosmic equilibrium. On the other hand, the priests of the Starborn claim these entities were not intended, but instead are an accident, an unaccounted byproduct of an imperfect being's dream of existence, soulless and ever hungering for Rod's sacred creation. Such theories reinforce the need for the Starborn as Rodozem's shepherds and guardians of the universe's balance. The primordial spirits of the four elements. The four elements that construct reality are earth, air, water, and fire. The fundamental building blocks Rod drew upon from the Sea of Chaos and used to give shape to reality. As the elements were infinitely intertwined, the primordial creator willed them apart into the harmonized dream that is Rodozem. This led to something peculiar. Perhaps for the first time, the four elements were free from one another, condensed and singular. Awoken by creation, as if from a deep, eternal slumber, a consciousness arose from each element. The primordial spirit came to be. They are the physical manifestation of each element, each bearing its particular character. Whether their birth is intentional or not, this is a truth known only by Rod. Each element has its own undying spirit, one that can be perhaps defeated, but never destroyed. So long as there is a spark of flame or a smoldering ember within Rodozem, the spirit of fire will burn in the skies. The four spirits are immortal and eternal, as each of the elements is essential for existence, and without them, reality will crumble. The four primordial spirits are known to have many progenitors, while other spirits were begotten by the vast lands and seas of Rodozem itself. But that is a tale for another time. The primordial souls, the Starborn gods. The Starborn, or Zvezdorodni, as referred to by mortals, are the prime deities of Rodozem, singers in the choir of Rod's Song of Songs. Each deity carries an essence of the primordial creator, their own special gift and identity, bestowed upon them at the dawn of creation. To Mukesha, Rod entrusted their vision. In Svarog, they sparked the star fires of creation. Perun was given their commanding will, Velis, their voice of magic. To Radigost, they surrendered their mind. For Divana, Rod spilt their blood. Upon Stribog, they exhaled their breath. And to Lada, Rod sacrificed their heart. The primordial souls, in turn, are the shepherds of reality, and while each may pull in a direction, balance is maintained, so that the song of creation may continue to echo. To mortal creatures of short lifespans, the Starborn represent the colorful spectrum of existence in the known world, but few understand the sacrifices each deity must make for this delicate dance to continue unhindered and possible. The eternal struggle to keep the ravenous forces from biting away the dream that is life. The ethos and moral values of the gods sometimes cause conflicts between their followers today, but most celestials favor harmony and peace, and inspire their worshippers to do the same. However, some mortals oppose the balance and forego the cycle of existence in favor of otherworldly power, only to be swallowed by it, to become puppets in a cosmic play far beyond the comprehension of their mere mortal minds. The cosmic fringes, Eldritch and Aberrant. Other, less known cosmic beings exist in the universe, for good or for ill, and wield powers and knowledge so immense they perhaps rival those of the most ancient entities. Some are vestiges of dead and forgotten deities that refuse to be swallowed by oblivion. Hungering for their past glory and influence, they spread their ancient and dissident gospels through secret cults, attempting to regain their power. Others still are mysterious entities with unfathomable magic who dwell on the fringes of the planes of existence. Sometimes they lend their powers to mortals who act as pawns in their incomprehensible ploys, but at other times they answer the calls of those in need of help or inspiration. Some theories even suggest that there are godlike beings that might have been created, molded, or begotten by the gods, spirits, or forces themselves, imbued with mystical powers and wills of their own.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please consider sharing it with friends, leaving us a review or a comment, casting Bless, checking for traps, or anything of the like to help our adventuring party continue on this quest. And if you would like to gain access to new releases before anyone else in an exclusive format, come and join us on Patreon. We'll keep a warm seat for you by the hearth.